All right, so mindfulness and meditation, right, is supposed to help you live a better life, be more creative, be more vibrant, be more present, more compassionate, and essentially help you get a greater understanding of yourself, or the lack of yourself, and how you connect to everything and everyone around you like we're all waves in the same ocean. It's an abstract concept, I know. But how the fuck does this actually work? Like, I'm sure some of you have seen studies done on the brain and the changes of the effects in the brain from a scientific perspective, and that, like, obviously meditation on a long enough timeline changes how you think. But aside from that, how can we effectively set up an environment to get the most out of your meditation to help you gain the most amount of perspective and wisdom and insight? Well, we can start with 5 different things that you can do every day, or at least try to do every single day, ways of living your life that'll help set you up for greater mindfulness and insight and put you down a path of learning and insight for yourself. And what we can do with those is try to implement them every single day. It's easier said than done for some of them. Some of them are very easy if you're not a piece of shit. But I digress. So the first one that we can do is don't kill, or at least try not to actively harm anything, right? And I'm not just talking about people, obviously. If you're not a fucking psychopath, you're not going out there killing people. I hope. But this goes for, like, trying not to just damage things. Even I'll even group in, like, throwing your trash on the ground, okay? Trying not to harm nature and trying not to harm people or animals or anything like that. So you could take it as far as you want. If you're fucking vegan, great. If you're not, whatever. For me, I'm not vegan or anything like that, but I'll choose to buy my meat as often as I can, wild or grass-fed, free-range, organic, ethically raised. Try not to throw your trash on the ground. Obviously, try not to hurt other people, and be cognizant of those actions. So no harm, no killing. 2, don't fucking steal. Don't take shit that isn't yours. Give credit where credit is due. Yeah, just overall, don't be a piece of shit. Try to be very honest with your actions. 3, it's going to be not speaking falsehoods, lies, gossiping. That shit's tricky. If you go by, like, classical teachings of this sort of thing, it's literally like, don't even talk about someone else when they're not in the room, even if it's positive things. Good fucking luck. That's gotta be the hardest one, right? Because we all relate, like, oh, hey, have you seen fucking Jimmy? Yeah, how's he doing? Oh, Jimmy's doing great. Work's going great. Well, according to that, you couldn't even talk about him. So, I mean, and we all hear people going out for lunch and they're like, she's the sweetest girl. Seriously, Becca is the sweetest girl, but I fucking hate her. Oh, I know, me too. I've heard that conversation so many times whenever I was a server, between people sitting down, talking about a friend or a housemate or a roommate, shitting all over them. Try to avoid gossip and that sort of thing, okay? 4, sexual misconduct. This one's tricky, right? Because I'm not saying you're a fucking monk or whatever. I mean, we all fuck. It's awesome. And we're all driven to do it. It's part of our nature. That's cool. I think it's being careful with your sexual nature. So not abusing that, not cheating on people, not trying to force people into sexual encounters whenever they're not ready or they're not willing, obviously, right? I feel like that's a fucking no-brainer. Or not trying to use your position of power to gain sexual favors from people, and that, you know, consenting shit, being caring, coming from the right place mentally to do this sort of thing. Also not being rough on yourself, not doing shit you're unwilling to do, not not having it stem from a place of affection and care for each other. I think that's important, because it can be a very healing thing or it can be a very damaging thing. And then 5, not abusing intoxicants, so drugs, alcohol, and prescription medication. Fuck, this could even go down to caffeine, cigarettes, whatever you wanted to make it be, candy, fuck, sugar, right? However extreme you wanted to get. But let's just keep this within the parameters of actual, like, drugs and booze. Now, I've made no secret that, like, I've struggled with alcohol in the past, especially as, like, a coping mechanism for stress or anxiety, or during times of like mild depression, that sort of thing. And dude, I love booze. I can fucking drink my ass off, and I can probably outdrink most of you, unless you have a problem with it too. I like it too much. I'm too good at it, so I've got to cut that shit out, because it changes the state that we're in. A lot of times whenever we're using it as a way to escape from the current reality, or to alter our perception of the current reality. Sorry, it's very loud right now. There must be a really big truck going by. And when we do that, we're not seeing the reality in front of us for what it truly is. And I think it's important that if you don't have a good handle on alcohol or drugs or recreational drugs, and you can't control it, and you're compelled to use it or use it frequently, so maybe like cut back on that shit or keep it out of your life. And even whenever you do have control over it, or if you are good at handling that sort of thing, to make sure you understand the mindset before you use them. Like, why do I want to drink right now? Why do I want to use like drugs right now? Is there a certain mental state that I'm in? Am I avoiding something? Am I trying to get away from something? It's important to understand those. So those five things, right? Not killing, not lying, not gossiping, not abusing your sexual nature, and making sure that you don't abuse intoxicants. You're gonna set yourself up for a life that's a lot smoother, right? You're not gonna have the same kind of run-ins with friends or coworkers or strangers on the street. You're not gonna set yourself up for the same problems, right? If you're talking shit about people and gossiping all the time and word gets around to them, that sets up a problem for you. If you're lying about doing that sort of thing to their face, then that sets up problems for you, right? A twisted web we weave when we deceive. And you know, if you're drunk and you're fucked up on drugs, you might say and do shit that you wouldn't normally do. You might not show up to work on time. You might not be as creative as you want to be, as present as you want to be. So all of these things create for choppier water, right, in your life. And we want the water of your life to be nice and smooth, like a calm-ass lake that's fun to go kayaking on. That's what we want. So from those 5 things, what that's going to do is allow for us, when the water is smoother, allow for us to concentrate more, because we're not dealing with all this external bullshit. We're able to concentrate a little bit more, and through that concentration we can meditate more effectively, because we don't have all that chatter going on in our life. So we're able to effectively meditate better. So those 5 lifestyle things set up better concentration, better meditation, and through that better meditation and being able to sit still and focus on the breath, or whatever anchor point that might be, such as sound around us or the feeling of the body on the ground, that'll allow for us to create better wisdom. Because we can sit there with ourselves and really focus on what it is we're feeling and what it is that we're seeing, and gather seeing what it is we're hearing, and gather that information into an effective way to learn about yourself and how you like to react to things, how your body feels, and catch yourself whenever your mind is wandering away. So we're really able to create a better sense of wisdom from there. And through wisdom, we gain better insight to the self, or the lack of the self, or whatever. And really from that insight, we're able to affect our whole life and really understand how we connect to everyone, how we connect to now, and gain insight into how we like to avoid situations that we don't like, gain insight into how we like to hold on to and grasp to things that we do like and don't want to leave, and how we like to avoid things that don't fit into the narrative of our life. And meditation allows, the exercise of meditation and that concentration allows for us to create those gaps. Because you know, when you're meditating and you're sitting there and you're like, oh fuck, I'm thinking, right? Like you're like, oh, I'm wandering off and I'm thinking about that movie I'm going to later, and you go, oh, thinking, and you pull yourself back to the breath. That's created a little gap between your thoughts that isn't normally there, to pull yourself back to the present moment and that anchor point of the breath. Well, that carries over to everyday life. So if you're sitting there and you're waiting for the elevator at home, right now our elevators are down at our building, and it annoyed me the other day, and I caught myself. Because what we'll want to do is grasp, aggress, or ignore things in our lives. So if I'm waiting for the elevator and it's not showing up on time the way that I want it to, and I'm like, fucking elevator, I can't believe this shit, right? I am aggressing that. I'm pushing away the fact that I don't like the elevator. So I catch myself and I can pull myself back with that space that meditation has allowed to happen, and I say, oh, well, I'm right here right now. There's nowhere I need to be. I don't need to be up in my apartment any sooner than I am right now. So why don't I just relax and be present here and now? And this allows me greater insight into how I like to react to things, right? So the concentration has led to the wisdom, has led to the insight. But none of that is possible without first setting up the calm waters with those 5 ways of living. So you can try to work on those 5 different ways of living. Pick one to start with, right? Just pick one to start with. So for the not killing things, why don't you try to make sure, and damaging things, try not to litter, try to get your food ethically sourced, organic, that sort of thing, and start there, right? And then if we're talking about not gossiping and lying, this one's tricky, right? Try at your very best not to lie, or at least like tell the truth, or at least don't lie. That's what Jordan Peterson always says. So start with that, or attempt not to talk about other people when they're not in the room, or fuck man, at least don't speak badly. Don't speak of them in a negative way. You can praise them and talk good things about them, but try that for a little bit, just for like a week. Catch yourself whenever you are too. That's important, is pulling yourself out of that. So if you do catch yourself, you know, throwing litter on the ground or speaking negatively about someone, pull yourself back in towards the act of not doing those things. And then stealing, fuck man, so if you have an idea from somewhere, that you learned it from somewhere, give credit to someone. Don't take anything that isn't yours. Obviously you shouldn't be stealing anyways, so whatever. Then sexual misconduct. If you're cheating on someone, stop, obviously. If you know you're using those powers, stop. But I think what you could do is notice when you have like sexual feelings or thoughts towards someone or something, like pornography and that kind of thing. And pause when you do and notice the state of mind that you're in. Where are you? What's going on? What are the smells around you? What are the sounds around you? What was the trigger to have that feeling or that thought, right? And then from that you'll gain greater insight into what it is that causes you to feel those things, and maybe you'll learn a little bit more about yourself, again gaining wisdom and insight, right? So it's just about noticing those sorts of things and understanding more of how you tick, even if it's a healthy thing, just understanding yourself a little bit better in that nature. And then booze, drugs, and that kind of thing, again very similar. When you feel the need to use drugs or alcohol, pause and ask yourself why. What mindset are you in? Are you stressed? Are you happy? Are you anxious? Are you depressed? Are you in pain? Are there things you're trying to avoid? Are you looking to get fucked up? Are you looking to have one drink? And notice what it is that makes you want to do that. And will it serve the purpose of making you more present, more mindful, and more vibrant, or is it going to dull and be an escape? So those are the exercises that you can try for those 5 things. Try them out just for a week. Pick one that you think you can do, and then try the next harder one, and the next harder one, and the next harder one, and work on that along with your meditative practice. And this should set you up for a better life, and a little less rocky overall. And then yeah, see how you feel. That's that. So I'm gonna fucking drink my tea, my caffeine, my drug of choice at the moment. Why? Because I'm tired and I want to be more alert for being at work, and because it tastes good, which is me seeking pleasure. But pleasure is okay sometimes, as long as we don't think that it's going to make your whole fucking life better by having one tea. So anyways, try that shit out. You can email me or inbox me on Instagram, whatever, and let me know how that goes. And if you have questions, cool. Later, gang.